For those of you who have been watching every week, you may be somewhat concerned about my lack of video last week. You see, I decided not to make a wrestling thing last week. Because I figured, well, nothing at all happened. It was just fluff, filler, basically a waste of everyone's time. And I figured, you know what, even if this week is not going to be tremendously off the wall, high octane, the greatest storytelling that I've ever seen, right? Maybe, just maybe, if I manage to smash 2 episodes of Dynamite into one weekly let's talk about wrestling kind of thing, maybe, just maybe, it might be alright. Oh, sure, this fucking lighting sucks. Let's make it a bit darker here. That's better. I'm not shining like a fucking beacon. And lo and behold, I decide to sit down. I decide to put on one of my favorite programs, AEW Dynamite. And I decide I want to have a wonderful time watching a thing that I love. Hoping that just maybe this week would be different. And yet I find myself in a position again where nothing happened. I've been saying for months now, I've been saying for quite a while now, hey, if we're going to try to tell a story, we need to be ready for all possible options, all possible opportunities for all possible people. The way that AEW has been doing things, they have been telling a story, finishing the story about a month early, and then just backloading episodes with frivolous fluff. And this week's fluff was a little bit more aggressive. Aggressively mediocre. A little bit offensive, in a way. Because this week of Dynamite, not only did they want to actually go in and have these fluff matches that they should have, scattered throughout the entirety of this storyline in between pay-per-views, right? Like, you have a 3-month period. You want to have, fluff matches in between, but they have all of these weird contractual issues with television stations. They're trying to make sure that they can push their product as high as humanly possible so that they can sell for the highest price, so that they can succeed as much as humanly possible. I get that. So they wanted to try to make the most exciting, interesting, elaborate, crazy matches. Crazy product that you could possibly want. And they ran out of shit. They ran out of story. Because they didn't plan that far ahead. They weren't ready to tell the whole story. So where does that get us? A full month of fluff? Right, so that Tony can come onto television with his cue cards right in front of him, so he could sit there with his mic in his hand and go, "Hello, guys. Hello, fellow teens. It's Tony again. Did you know we're getting a brand new entire product? Aren't you all excited for more of this? Aren't you excited?" I'm sure the pay-per-view is going to be great. But half of the matches in the pay-per-view have already fucking happened. And so we come across a bunch of fluff programs, inflating people's fucking records, padding out people, giving some of your jobbers a little bit of time on television, a couple of actual moves on television, Wardlow, and actually getting to kind of push them. But you don't want to push them right before a pay-per-view. You want to just kind of keep reinforcing, aren't you excited for this match? Aren't you excited for this match? Aren't you excited for this match? The Coming Home show should hardly have any wrestling at all. It should be just mostly people going, I want to keep my bones safe before we have to destroy each other on a pay-per-view event, on the Super Bowl of wrestling. And yet we find ourselves in a complete fluff match, complete fluff booking for the entirety of this. And I saw Orange Cassidy take, what was it, 4 pile drivers in a single match? Are we that desperate to get people excited? That we're willing to get one of your top guys, one of your top talents, you're willing to get this guy's neck fucking snapped for the sake of a time waster? A fluff match where nothing happened, no stories were being told, nothing at all was advanced. It was just, here are the guys, they're wrestling. And there was the whole thing with that. There was an uncomfortable amount of excruciatingly high-risk moves that didn't even fucking land, with me at least, because I don't care that they're doing interesting, high-choreographed shit if that interesting, high-choreographed shit doesn't lead anywhere. So we have Orange, for like the 8th week in a row, got his ass kicked for 20 straight minutes, barely puts up any kind of fight, took 4 crazy moves, a pile driver off the top fucking rope. And how did he win? Because of course he won. Changing the status quo? That would be silly. How did he win? Surprise roll up at the end. The most devastating move in sports entertainment. How exciting. I'm glad I watched. I'm glad all of that meant anything. I just got done watching this. And I am struggling to remember all the fucking fights. The only thing in my mind, the only thing that stays within the confines of my head. Why the fuck is Sabu here? I get that he's like a legend. Sabu's great. He came out to even the odds in a 2 versus 5 match where Sabu is effectively at the ripe young age of 75. He is worth 3 members of the Jericho Appreciation Society. Is this how little these guys actually mean? That Sabu can come out and just mollywop all of them? What the fuck kind of move was that? I heard that Willow got a push off screen. She ended up breaking a potential prospect's foot in the process because Willow doesn't wrestle and then got an extremely high-profile match out of nowhere when she wasn't fucking ready for it. Good for you, Willow. I'm glad you're bringing another belt into AEW. Yay. Another women's belt. It's everything I could have ever wanted. So here we are. On the cusp of wrestling greatness. Right before a pay-per-view event. I think it's Double or Nothing? I want to say it's Double or Nothing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but... And I know it's going to be a good fucking pay-per-view. They're all good. They somehow made Forbidden Door work, right? Remember Forbidden Door? I wasn't making these when Forbidden Door was coming out, but every single week, they would just refuse to push any Japanese guys at all. And then all of a sudden Forbidden Door comes out and is like, are you guys ready for high-octane matches? Where no one was pushed up to this moment? Where no stories were being told? Are you ready for just wrestling moves? And somehow it was awesome. Somehow they made it work. It defies all logic how they managed to keep getting away with this. It defies all known human synapse activity. It completely defies everything that you would honestly think. But somehow they just keep making them great. But I just have to sit here trying to mash 2 programs in one, hoping desperately that something interesting happens. And I just can't bring myself to remember it. I can't bring myself to talk about it. I'm getting apathetic, boys. But I'll see you on Sunday, where my hope and my vigor are 100% renewed by wrestling.